Hey everybody, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we have another exciting episode in our series on 380 ACP self-defense ammunition. Today in our Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0, we're going to be testing out the Underwood 90 grain XTP bullet. Should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. Well, what are we going to be talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about the Bodyguard 2.0 in the Beretta Cheetah 80X, but with this ammunition from Underwood. It's a 90 grain XTP, which is a bullet made by Hornady. Just a very traditional hollow point type design. But we're going to be shooting it with some plus P loadings from Underwood. Now that should be fine out of our Beretta. It should be fine out of our Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0, but I do want to put a disclaimer in here that Smith & Wesson does not recommend that the Bodyguard 2.0 have plus P ammunition shot through it. It has a pretty strong disclaimer in their manual that this is a no-no. I'll try to include a little bit of a picture, an image of what that is right now, but I just think it's something that you have to consider. Is this something that you are going to be shooting regularly out of your firearm? And if it isn't, and it's your self-defense ammunition, you feel like you can't train with it because over time it's going to cause your gun to fail, I think that's something to consider in whether or not it's worth it for you. But I've had a number of requests for this ammunition, so we're going to try it out. And I don't mind just doing a few rounds every now and then through it, but I'm just not going to give it a healthy diet, and I want to be able to shoot my self-defense rounds with this gun. So with that said, we have a little bit longer barrel with the Beretta Cheetah X. And we used to shoot a Kimber in with this series, but we've removed that gun from it just because it allows us to get through the testing just a little bit faster. I think we've decided that, yes, the faster twist rate in the Bodyguard 2.0 does provide some additional depth and penetration in some types of bullets, and then also makes a little bit of difference in expansion sometimes, that angular momentum. But at this point, I think we're just going to keep testing and see how this ammunition does in the Bodyguard 2.0. Today we've got gel tests, we've got accuracy, and we've got our Garmin out so that we can look at some of the ballistics of these bullets as they're fired. This should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. All right, well, we have some Underwood 90 grain XTP. It's a plus P bullet. Let's see how it does in gel. Go down and take a look. Okay, well, let's take a look at this round. We can see it actually does a pretty decent job. It's really hard. This is a remelted gel block. Look, these things are expensive, guys. If you're complaining about that, then you can donate to the channel. Here is where the bullet entered. Got very nice expansion. Continued to get very good. That stuff in the background is from a different round, so ignore that. But it's a very nice expanded hollow point out past 12 inches. That's rare to find in 380 ACP ammunition. Now this is a plus P round, so that comes with its own hazards that you're going to have to be the judge on, whether or not you think your gun won't explode, but that's up to you. I'm just giving you the information. We saw some petals coming off inside the gel. There's some lead fragments coming apart. That's also good because they create their own cavities and their own wounding and things like that. So again, pretty nice out of this little Bodyguard. Okay, well, we have the 90 grain Underwood with this Beretta. Let's see how we do. Let's see if we can get it into the gel in the right spot. It's in the gel. Okay, well, I put them right next to each other. Again, when you're shooting a lot of different ammunition through these different guns, the point of impact is shifting on them, so it's difficult to get real precise on it. But we got both shots into the gel right next to each other. See very similar performance. I'm going to have a hard time telling the difference between these two bullets at the end of the day. But I will say I'm really happy to see that it's getting out to around that 13-inch mark, a little past 12, around 13. So that's great to see. I think that this is a great round for the Beretta because I think it gets built just a little bit heavier in order to withstand some of the pressures that are coming with that plus P round. Okay, these are our two XTP bullets. They got pretty flat, but they didn't get tons of expansion. This is the one from the Beretta. This is the one from the Bodyguard. Just a little bit more pushback on the one from the Beretta, and looked to be got just a little bit deeper, but again, not super wide expansion, so that's why it got just a little bit deeper than the one with the Bodyguard. We have some of this XTP jacketed hollow point from Underwood. It's a 90 grain projectile. We're going to be shooting it out of our Smith & Wesson Bodyguard and our Kimber, trying to get some velocities off of it. See how it does. 1105, again, it is a plus P round. 1102. 1044. 1024. And 1006. And I think on the box it says it should be getting 1200 feet per second. It's 100 feet per second less. This is a very short barrel, so that makes sense to me. Next up, let's take a look at our velocities and see what the averages were. Okay, for our min, we had 1044. Our max, we have 1124. 80 feet per second spread, that's pretty big. An average of 1096, so almost 1100 feet per second. And then for our average kinetic energy, we had 240 foot-pounds. That's pretty good for a 380 ACP handgun, but again, comes with these disadvantages of it being a plus P round and not really recommended for the Smith & Wesson. Okay, well, we have 5 shots of the Underwood with the Beretta. 1137. 1155. 1157. 1157.7, I think it got that. And 1109.4, and it did collect 5 shots, so we know that that's right. Take a quick look at the session summary. For our min, we had 1057. For our average, we had 1123. For our max of 1157, we're still not getting that 1200 feet per second that they advertise. Could be an even longer barrel, but who has really long barrels out of 380 ACP? I don't know. Well, that's interesting. Let's move on and take a look at how this performs with accuracy. Okay, well, we got this 90 grain plus P projectile from Underwood. It's an XTP. See how we do with a practical accuracy. I'm not talking about true precision, but how will it hit on paper relative to how this gun is zeroed, relative to how I shoot it. It's something like a self-defense type of distance. Just looking like 5 yards here. All right, not bad. Okay, well, we have the Beretta. Let's see how the Underwood 90 grain plus P XTP bullet does out of this gun. Okay, it actually fires pretty well out of it, so potential round for this. Okay, well, let's wrap things up. So today we shot the Underwood 90 grain XTP, but their plus P version of it, and we got pretty good results with it. In fact, this is yet another round that somehow the Beretta seemed to fire all the shots that we took today. We got decent penetration out to about a little over 12 inches. We got okay expansion below 0.5 of an inch, so not great expansion, but that not great expansion allowed it to get deep enough penetration. So again, that's a trade-off that you always have to make, or often have to make, with this 380 ACP ammunition. If you get too much expansion, you don't get far enough. If you get enough expansion, if you don't get enough expansion, then you lose the diameter of what's going through whatever medium you are cutting through, or whatever meat target you are shooting through. So I think that overall it's a pretty good round. We always have the caveats with the plus P. Plus P just means it's loaded a little bit hotter. If you hand load, you go up to the top of the spec, you go a couple % over, that type of thing, then you're in the plus P round. It's not detrimental in any sense. I may have said in the video that it's going to explode. I don't expect it's going to explode your handgun, but over time, you're going to see part breakages early and premature. And so that's just something that I personally am not going to choose to do with 380 ACP. I do carry it with 9mm and a lot of my handguns, and that's what I choose to carry. But those handguns say that it's fine to do it. And so the specification by the engineering design standards for it say that it's okay to shoot in those ranges, versus the Bodyguard 2.0 says that it's not. So I know there are safety cases built on all of these things. I tend to like to follow those. And then also for me personally, I do like to practice with my self-defense ammunition. That means not just loading it up once for every 2 years and then you shoot it every 2 years, but I like to go through and cycle and make sure my gun works with the ammunition that I'm carrying for self-defense, and know how to train and know where it's going to hit on paper so that I know where it's going to hit if I ever need it for self-defense purposes. That's just me. You may have a different philosophy. So let me know what you guys think about this round, about this Underwood Plus P 90 grain XTP bullet. XTP has been around for a long time. It's a standard jacketed hollow point. Let me know what you guys think. Is it something that you think is worthwhile? Is it something that you want to carry in your handgun? Please let me know about it in the comments below. Hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.